Hey, it's day 9. It's a Thursday, and once again, I did not play poker today. That's 2 days in a row. But as I said before, Tuesday's tournament gave me several different subjects to talk about. One hand in particular, this is late in the first tournament. The lines are at 400, 800. First to act only has 800 left, so he's got to go either this hand or the next hand. So he goes ahead and shoves here. I've got ace king, so I raise it up to 3,400. Folds around to the small blind, he folds, and the big blind rechecks his cards, thinks for a while, calls my 3,400. Of course, he only leaves another 800 back in his stack. He's pretty much calling off his entire stack. Sort of a pet peeve of mine is, at that point in time, if your hand's good enough to call that, why not go ahead and just shove? But, to each his own. Flop comes king 9-4, and this guy that's still remaining in the hand goes ahead and shoves his remaining 800 now into the pot. So I call, turn over my ace king. I've got top pair, top kicker. He turns over jack 9. He's got middle pair. That's what he felt was strong enough to go ahead and shove. Of course, naturally, by the time we get to the river, jack comes off, so he makes 2 pair. He wins the pot, and he starts celebrating as if he's the greatest poker player in the world. Of course, the whole reason he played his jack 9 in the first place was because they were suited. My least favorite phrase in poker. Everybody seems to think that the suited cards are great to start with. That's what I want to talk about today. What truly are your odds of hitting a flush when you're starting with suited cards? Particularly cards that may not be that strong to begin with. I've run too many times into people that are calling with 7-5 or 8-3, but they were suited. At least this guy had a face card. But the odds of hitting a flush by the time you get to the river, when you're starting out with 2 suited cards, is 15-1. Now, in this particular hand we're talking about, basically there's 5,400 in the pot. He's got to call 2,800 more, which pretty much is his whole stack. He's getting less than 2-1 return on his money for a bet that's going to pay off maybe 15. Like I said, the odds are 15-1. A lot of people can't grasp that concept, but the idea is don't get your money in below your actual odds. He's getting a 2-1 return on a bet that should pay 15-1. As the hand progresses, things turn out a little bit more or in your favor. So let's talk about when to play your suited cards. Obviously, if you're in later position, it might be a good time to do that. So for example, let's say that you've got 4 limpers in front of you, and you've got suited cards. Maybe you go ahead and want to see a flop. Your bet at that time is paying off at 5-1 versus the 15-1 payout. But at least it's better than what this guy was doing here, which was basically a 2-1 for a 15-1. Once the flop comes, if you've hit 2 of your suited cards, basically you need just 1 more. By the time it gets to the river, your odds are now 1.9-1, so a little less than 2-1. So pretty much at this point you can call off any bet, assuming you've got a higher card in your hand, because what you don't want to run into is somebody that's got a higher flush draw than you. Now, if you don't flop 2, if you only have 1 and you stick around and then you turn the second one, your odds are much less. You're now 4.1 to hit that flush on the river. So if you've got 4 cards to the turn, you need 1 more at the river. Your odds are 4-1. So take a look at the size of the bet. Guys betting the pot, you're only going to get paid off at 2-1 when your odds are 4-1. If a guy plays a smaller bet and you're getting paid off at odds of 4-1 or better, absolutely go chase that flush. I'll do it all the time. If they're going to low bet me and give me the right odds to pay off, I will chase that flush at the end. But please, look at your suited cards. Realize what your real true odds of hitting that flush are before you make that decision to call that big pre-flop raise.